What if the reason you keep losing focus isn't laziness, but slavery? Slavery to distraction, slavery to emotion, slavery to emotion, slavery to every impulse that knocks on the door of your mind. For years, most people drift through life pulled in 1,000 directions, wondering why they feel weak, scattered, and tired. Today you'll discover 7 Stoic truths that can forge relentless focus, sharpen your discipline, and make your mind far harder to break. These are not soft ideas, they are mental weapons. Ancient principles that built emperors, thinkers, and men who could stand in the storm without folding. Watch till the end. The one truth you skip might be the one you need most. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, did not write for comfort. He wrote for survival. In Meditations, he reminds himself, "Every moment think steadily as a Roman, and a man to do what thou hast in hand with perfect and simple dignity." That is not poetry. That is instruction. The Stoics did not speak to a world of smartphones, endless notifications, and engineered distraction. But they knew the deeper enemy. They understood that the mind can be conquered long before the body is defeated. They knew a person could have wealth, status, and opportunity, and still be ruined by poor attention, weak impulses, and undisciplined habits. And that is why Stoicism matters now more than ever. Because modern life rewards stimulation, but punishes depth. It gives you endless access, but steals your concentration. It offers comfort on demand, while quietly eroding your edge. You are told to chase motivation. The Stoics tell you to build command. Seneca taught that time is your only true possession. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you stop begging life to obey your preferences. Marcus Aurelius taught that the disciplined mind can remain upright even when the world becomes chaos. In this video, we'll explore 7 Stoic truths that will help you reclaim your attention, master your impulses, strengthen your routines, and become the kind of person who does what must be done, especially when he does not feel like doing it. Because discipline is not punishment, it is power, and focus is not a gift, it is trained. Epictetus wrote, "Some things are in our control and others not." This profound truth guided Stoics through war, exile, pain, and uncertainty, because it revealed the first battlefield every serious person must win. Most people hear this and think it means indifference. It does not. It means precision. Stoicism is not telling you to stop caring, it is telling you to stop wasting strength on what your strength cannot move. Your thoughts, choices, effort, discipline, and response belong to you. Other people's opinions, the market, the weather, the past, and the timing of life do not. Modern psychology says stress intensifies when you confuse influence with control. Your brain burns energy fighting imaginary authority over outcomes it never possessed. That is why so many people feel exhausted before the day even begins. This truth solves the problem of mental leakage. You know the feeling. You sit down to work, but your mind drifts to how someone judged you, whether your plan will fail, whether success will come fast enough. Hours disappear. Your body is at the desk, but your attention is in chains. When you ignore this principle, life becomes one long argument with reality. So tomorrow morning, draw a hard line. Ask yourself, what is mine right now? The answer is simple. Your next action, your standard, your posture, your effort. When conflict appears in relationships, stop trying to control another person's emotions. Control your words. At work, stop obsessing over recognition. Dominate the task. During stress, reduce the moment to one command, choose the next right act. This is how discipline begins, not with grand ambition, but with narrowed power. Weak minds chase control over the world. Strong minds take command over themselves. Most people want certainty before action. You move without it. Most people panic when outcomes shift. You adapt and remain steady. But knowing what you control is only the entrance. The next truth teaches you what your life is actually being spent on, and if you miss it, discipline will never hold. 2. Treat time as a sacred resource. Seneca wrote, "Hold every hour in your grasp." This profound truth has guided statesmen, thinkers, and disciplined men for centuries because it exposes the invisible theft happening in ordinary life. Time is the one possession you spend whether you mean to or not. And the tragedy is not that life is short. The tragedy is that most people leak their life in fragments so small they barely notice. 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there, one distracted morning, one lazy evening, 1 week of postponing. Then a year disappears and nothing substantial was built. Stoicism does not ask whether you are busy, it asks whether you are deliberate. Neuroscience now speaks of attentional residue, the way unfinished distractions cling to the mind and weaken deep work. Seneca understood the same principle without the laboratory. A divided life becomes a diminished life. This truth solves the problem of drift. You feel it when days are full but empty. You answer messages, scroll, react, consume, and collapse into bed with the strange guilt of having moved all day without truly advancing. Ignore this principle, and you become a servant to urgency, other people's agendas, and your own lower impulses. So begin with a ruthless audit. Tomorrow, do not ask, "What do I feel like doing?" Ask, "What deserves my finite life?" Give the first hour of your day to your hardest meaningful task before the world reaches into your mind. In conversation, be fully present instead of half listening while reaching for the next stimulus. At night, review the day and ask where your attention was traded too cheaply. A weak mindset treats time as abundant. A disciplined mind treats it as blood. Most people spend hours to avoid discomfort. You invest hours to build substance. That is why your focus grows, because you stop donating your life to the trivial. But before we go further, you need to understand something. Protecting time is not enough if comfort still commands your behavior. The next truth deals with that enemy directly. 3. Rise to the work of a human being. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, Book 5.1, "In the morning when thou risest unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." This truth has hardened generations because it attacks one of the most dangerous habits of all, obeying comfort. The Stoic point is simple. You are not here merely to feel good. You are here to function in accordance with your nature rationally, courageously, usefully. Discipline is not about dramatic suffering. It is about refusing to let passing reluctance decide the quality of your day. The body says stay. The lower mind says later. Reason says rise. This is where many people get confused. They think discipline means waiting until they feel powerful. No, discipline means acting before the feeling arrives. In modern terms, behavior often leads emotion. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates identity. The more often you do what must be done without negotiation, the more your brain learns that resistance is not a stop sign. This truth solves the problem of inconsistency. You make plans at night and betray them in the morning. You want strength, but you keep voting for softness in tiny moments. And those tiny moments are not small. They become your character. When this principle is ignored, your self-respect begins to decay. You stop trusting your own word. So make mornings sacred. When you wake, do not open your day by consuming other people's noise. Sit up. Stand up. Make the bed. Wash your face in cold water if needed. Move your body before you check your phone. Then begin one hard task early before excuses multiply. In work, start before you are ready. In training, show up before motivation. In difficult seasons, keep your routine even when your emotions are unstable. Most people ask, "How can I make this easier?" But you ask, "How can I become stronger?" That question changes everything. Weak men negotiate with the pillow. Strong men remember their purpose. You do not need to feel inspired. You need to be aligned, and if you think this is powerful, what comes next will sharpen it even further. Because once you rise, you must learn how to stay steady around difficult people. 4. Expect forsiction, do not be shocked by human nature. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial." This profound truth trained the Stoic mind to meet the world prepared, not offended. Marcus was not becoming cynical. He was becoming realistic. He understood that a great deal of emotional weakness comes from one false assumption, that people should behave better than they do. But reality does not bend because you prefer it to. People will misunderstand you. Some will test you. Some will project their chaos onto your calm. Why does this matter for focus? Because emotional reactivity is one of the fastest ways to lose mental command. One insult, one passive-aggressive comment, one act of disrespect, and your whole day is hijacked. Your nervous system narrows. Your attention fractures. Your work suffers because someone else's disorder entered your bloodstream. This truth solves the problem of emotional derailment. You know the pattern. A single interaction at work ruins your concentration. A selfish person in your family pulls you into a cycle of anger. A manipulative voice makes you replay conversations for hours. When you ignore this Stoic preparation, you live at the mercy of personalities. So prepare in advance. Before entering work, remind yourself that friction is part of human life, not proof the day is cursed. In relationships, pause before reacting. Let the first wave of emotion pass before you answer. At work, judge situations by principle, not by wounded pride. Ask, what response serves truth, dignity, and the long game? A weak mindset is surprised every time human beings act like flawed human beings. A disciplined mind is not shocked. It is ready. Most people absorb other people's chaos. You contain your own center. That is strength, not dramatic anger, not loud dominance, inner command. But there is a deeper layer here. Sometimes the enemy is not another person. Sometimes it is your own imagination turning shadows into monsters. That is the next truth, and it may be the one your mind needs most. 5. Stop suffering twice. Seneca wrote in Letters to Lucilius, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This profound truth has survived for centuries because it names one of the oldest human weaknesses with brutal clarity. The Stoics knew the mind can wound itself without outside help. You do not just experience pain, you rehearse it, you enlarge it, you predict disaster, then emotionally live through that disaster long before it arrives. Anxiety often feeds on fiction written by fear and believed by habit. Modern neuroscience would say the brain reacts to vividly imagined threat in ways not entirely different from real threat. Your body tenses, stress chemicals rise, attention narrows, the future invades the present. Seneca saw the same pattern in moral language. Men torment themselves before the crisis comes. This truth solves overthinking, procrastination, and mental exhaustion. You delay the conversation because you imagine rejection. You avoid the project because you imagine failure. You lose sleep over outcomes that do not yet exist. And in doing so, you pay a tax to events that may never come. Ignore this principle, and fear will steal from you twice, once in anticipation, and again if the difficulty truly arrives. So when anxiety surges, interrogate it. Ask, what is real right now? Not next week. Not the worst-case fantasy. Right now. Reduce fear to facts. If a conversation must happen, schedule it. If a task feels overwhelming, shrink it to the next 10 minutes. If your mind predicts catastrophe, answer it with evidence and action. Motion cuts through fog. Most people bow to imagined pain. You train yourself to face actual reality. That makes you dangerous in the best sense of the word, not reckless, not numb, clear, The weak mind dramatizes, the disciplined mind examines. One multiplies suffering, the other ends confusion. But before you relax, remember this: even after you stop feeding fear, you still need a method for holding attention in the present. That is where the next principle becomes a weapon. 6. Give full attention to what is in front of you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Attend to the matter which is before thee, whether it is an opinion or an act or a word." This profound truth has guided disciplined minds for centuries because it reveals that greatness is rarely dramatic. It is concentrated because it reveals that greatness is cradly. Focus is not merely staring hard. It is moral seriousness applied to the present moment. To attend fully means you stop scattering yourself. You stop splitting your awareness between the task, the fear, the imagined future, the memory of failure, and the craving for stimulation. You become one man doing one thing. This principle destroys the myth that multitasking is strength. It is usually fragmentation with better branding. The Stoics would call it lack of self-command. Cognitive science now confirms that task switching drains performance, weakens memory, and reduces depth. Every shift has a cost. Every distraction leaves a bruise on attention. This truth solves the problem of shallow living. You start 5 things and finish none. You speak without listening. You work while checking messages. You train while thinking about work. You rest while drowning in guilt. Your mind is never where your body is. And when that becomes normal, discipline collapses because presence collapses first. So practice single-task integrity. When you work, remove what divides you. Put the phone away. Close the extra tabs. Set a fixed window and go all in. In conversation, hear the other person fully instead of preparing your reply. In stress, return to the immediate assignment. This breath, this paragraph, this call, this choice. Do not carry 5 battles at once. A weak mindset seeks stimulation because stillness feels empty. A strong mindset can remain with the important long enough to transform it. Most people chase novelty. You build depth. Most people want intensity. You master continuity. That is where unbreakable discipline is forged, not in random bursts, but in sustained attention. And yet one final truth remains. It is perhaps the hardest of all, because it asks you to stop negotiating with reality itself. 7. What happens then, Euclid Epictetus wrote in the Enchiridion. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. This truth has steadied human beings for centuries because it turns resistance into strength. This does not mean passive surrender. It means disciplined acceptance. There is a difference. Passive people collapse under events. Stoics accept events quickly so they can act powerfully within them. They do not waste half their energy complaining that reality failed to ask permission. Here is the deeper psychology. Resistance prolongs pain. When the mind keeps saying this should not be happening, it blocks adaptation. Acceptance, by contrast, restores agency. The event has already arrived. The only remaining question is whether you will turn it into training, wisdom, patience, strategy, or character. This truth solves bitterness. Plans fail. People leave. Delays happen. Your body gets tired. Progress slows. Life refuses to follow your script. And if every disruption becomes a personal insult, your focus shatters. You spend your strength mourning the ideal instead of mastering the real. So when the day goes wrong, say, this too is material. If work gets harder, use it to deepen patience and competence. If a relationship exposes your triggers, use it to practice restraint and honesty. If progress is slower than you hoped, use the season to refine your standards rather than abandon them. You do not need perfect conditions. You need a disciplined response. Most people ask life for comfort, then crumble when they do not get it. But you train yourself to use whatever arrives. That is why you become difficult to break, because now nothing is wasted, not failure, not delay, not criticism, not pain. Everything becomes fuel, and that is the final turn of Stoicism. Focus is not built by protecting yourself from all difficulty. Discipline is built by using difficulty well. So let's bring these 7 Stoic truths together. Master what you can control, and you stop leaking power into things that never belonged to you. Treat time as sacred, and you stop donating your life to triviality. Rise to the work of a human being, and you stop letting comfort write your destiny. Expect friction, and difficult people no longer own your peace. Stop suffering twice, and fear loses its favorite weapon. Give full attention to what is in front of you, and your scattered energy becomes force. Want what happens, then use it, and even adversity begins to serve your growth. These are not just ideas, they are tools to increase your focus, harden your discipline, and rebuild your inner architecture. The world will continue to tempt you with distraction, softness, and emotional chaos. That will not stop. The question is whether you will keep living as a reaction or start living as a ruler of your own mind. Because the truth is this: discipline is not reserved for the gifted. Focus is not reserved for monks, emperors, or rare men born with iron in their blood. These qualities are trained, repeated, forged in ordinary moments that most people dismiss. The alarm clock, the unfinished task, the difficult conversation, the insult, the delay, the tired evening when nobody is watching. That is where your character is decided. So if this resonated with you, tap like. Drop your affirmation in the comments which truth hit hardest, and subscribe for unapologetic Stoic truth every single week. Do not leave this video inspired and unchanged. Leave it committed. Choose one principle today. Practice it before the sun goes down, then return tomorrow and do it again. Because a focused mind is a free mind, a disciplined life is a powerful life, and the man who learns to govern himself becomes far more dangerous than the man who only tries to control the world. Become the master of your mind. Rebuild, refocus, rise,